When you're growing up, your parents push you in different directions. Some say pick up an instrument, go play a sport, or even get into the arts. But one thing your parents never say is go pick up a skateboard. Now, they would never promote something as dangerous and reckless as skateboarding, which makes sense. Why would they encourage you to sprain your ankle, get scabby knees, or even break your neck? But I did it anyway. I picked up my first skateboard at 10 years old, and it took me a while to get my balance, and it took me a while to get my confidence. I would fall, but I would pick myself right back up. The moment I perfected my first ollie, I became hooked. I loved how skateboarding could be a form of self-expression, and I loved how it offered me so much freedom at a young age. By 13 years old, I became serious. I would wake up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday to catch the train down to Miami. I mean, how many 13-year-olds are dedicated enough to wake up that early on a Saturday? And who takes the train in South Florida? No one. Like I said, my day would start at 7 in the morning, and I wouldn't be home until 10 that night. Skateboarding gave me a key to the city. Anything and everything became available to me. Looking back at it now as an 18-year-old, to think that little skinny me, and I'm real little and skinny then, along with my group of 13-year-old friends would look up times tables for trains and buses so we could roam uncharted territories all by ourselves to look for places to skate, like this place we call Rooftops in Miami. It's actually an abandoned Miami Marine Stadium in Key Biscayne. To get to places like this, you have to, and remember, this is a metaphor, hop fences and go past do not enter signs. Break a rule or two. And that's really what skateboarding is all about, to go to uncharted territories, to go explore, and even take risks. And you have to allow yourself to fall. So this speech is for the parents out there who couldn't ever imagine letting their teenage son or daughter pick up a skateboard, who stifle their children by not allowing them the freedom to go out and explore, who don't do their children any favors by not allowing their children to fall. You can't bubble wrap the world, and it's more than okay for us to get hurt. Look at me. I think I turned out okay. Actually, I turned out better than okay. I turned out happy. Because what I learned from skateboarding is a work ethic and independence. Skateboarding showed me that perseverance and hard work will always yield results. Not everyone understands what it's like to try a trick for hours just to take abuse for 99% of it. And eventually land it if you're lucky enough. But that feeling, it's just sublime. It's better than winning the lottery on your birthday. All your anger and frustration quickly become relief and joy. Not everyone gets what it's like to grind down an 8-foot rail. And of course, not everyone gets what it's like to feel that pain when you don't land the way you expected. But all those falls taught me how to feel responsible for my own choices, whether to commit to that trick or kick out. In that split second when you're in the air, there's no one there to catch you. And it's just you and the concrete pavement. And what you learn in skateboarding is there's ways to pad that hard landing, coping mechanisms, if you will, like sliding out, bailing out, or a tumble roll to mitigate the fall. Now, there are all types of parents out there. There's the tiger mom, the dance mom, the soccer mom, the I'm your friend on Facebook mom, the never cut the umbilical cord mom. But I'm not here to blame moms. I'm here to also blame dads. There are the baseball dads, the living vicariously through their son dad, the suit and tie dad, that's not my son dad. These parenting styles share two things in common. One thing is that they all want what's best for their kids, and number two, unfortunately, the way they're going about it isn't achieving that goal. And it's because they're probably looking at their child not as an individual, but as an investment. Now, why is this the case? According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, because children are the equivalent of crops in our society, the average cost for parents to raise their children is almost $250,000, just a bit more than $250,000. Just to give birth in the United States costs $8,800, according to the Thompson Healthcare Study from March of Dimes. So it's only natural at these prices that parents look at their children as investments. And they want to protect those investments, and they certainly want a return on those investments. So there's a pressure on parents for their children to succeed. And to them, success is measured in report cards and standardized test scores. Success is a varsity letter. Success is conventional. And somehow, if their child isn't an A student, then there must be something wrong or there must be someone to blame. You can look at me as an alternative way to measure success. I never was an overachiever in the classroom. My collective high school average is no more than a B, and I'm being very generous. That doesn't bother me, though. These were my choices I made for myself because I devoted my time to my passion, skateboarding. I almost failed physics in the classroom, but here I am applying physics in the skate park. That's me. Calculating force and making adjustments so that I compensate for rational inertia while catching air. I have learned a lot about the world and myself through following my passion and giving it my all. Will my skateboarding ever pay the bills? Probably not. Will it recoup the investments my parents have put into me thus far? Sorry, Mom. No. No way. But I think they're proud of me anyway, because what they see is an individual, and a happy one at that.